Pro Boxing fans, we are here in London. It is fight week, and a fight week I cannot go ahead with until I have a fight analysis with my good friend Adam Smith. Adam, how are you, sir?
Good to see you. Lovely to see you. And I missed you. I don't think I saw you in New York last week.
No, I was out there. John's out there.
It was an amazing week, and I'm still a little bit jet lagged from it. So I'm hoping that will sort itself out by Saturday night before I have to call the fights. But yeah, no, it's an exciting time. It's been a brilliant fortnight. I loved. In fact, it's been a great few weeks, hasn't it? Every Saturday night on DAZN, we've had great action, terrific stories, and that continued on Saturday night in the Louis Armstrong Centre after a treat on Friday night watching my friend Katie Taylor roll back the years. So I had a great time in New York, and pleased to be back here, 10 minutes from home at the National Stadium. Everybody likes a boxing event at Wembley.
Of course they do, and let's dissect this a little bit. I do want to ask you, general consensus is that this fight, is this two questions I want to ask you. First of all, are we seeing a different Daniel Dubois to the first fight that we saw? And secondly, is it the right time to be catching Usyk at this part of his career?
Yeah, two great questions. First answer is I don't agree that he's the same. Certainly not the same mindset. Might be the same individual, but he's not the same mindset as he was when he was 25, 27. What's he done in the last couple of years? He's dealt with the Usyk defeat. He's rebounded. He's got a great relationship with Don Charles. I thought of the three fights that everyone talks about, people hone in on Joshua. I like talking about the Miller fight because I thought that really was a fight he had to win, and I think he really proved his toughness and mettle in that fight. So the question marks maybe that people were asking after Joe Joyce and Usyk, I think he answered a lot in the Miller fight. Hrgović, he took his lumps and bumps and came through that. I think that was a really important win for him. And of course, Joshua here. I'd like to have seen Daniel fight in February. I think it's a long time out the ring since last September. And Usyk, of course, fought in December against Fury. Second question, is it the best time to catch him? Well, you'd have thought yes. He's 38. But I don't know. He's only had 23 professional fights, and I think people aren't remembering that. It's very similar to what Dubois had. I don't read much into the age because I've been in camp with Oleksandr Usyk, and there's no one I'm more impressed with. He's a phenomenal trainer. He's dedicated to the hilt, and he's incredibly clever inside the squared circle. 23-0, 350 amateur fights. He's won everything. You know, he's becoming, he thinks, the third time undisputed. And he's beaten Dubois before. So, look, you've got to think and hope if you're Team Dubois that it is the right time to catch him. Father Time waits for no man, and he could just get old overnight. But I think based on what he was like in the last 4 rounds against Tyson Fury in December, and based on what I know about him in training, I think Oleksandr Usyk is going to be a very, very difficult puzzle to solve on Saturday night again for Dubois, and he's very good in rematches. That said, Dubois got a better chance because he believes in himself, and I think his weaponry is there for all to see, and at 27 he should be coming into his prime. The problem is Usyk is elite, and I mean really elite. So yeah, Daniel Dubois has got to go through hell and back to beat him on Saturday night.
A lot of people are talking about Daniel Dubois' form coming into this. Obviously, he beats some great opponents, but when you look at the other side, Usyk's fought AJ, Dubois, Fury. So when I just want to play
compare the resumes.
Yeah, when you compare them right now, just going off that form from Oleksandr Usyk, he must mentally just be way ahead and just thinking way ahead of where he was last time around.
So he looked like it up there, didn't he, at the press conference today? Cool was the word, I think, with Usyk. And what about Daniel? Confident already. I think Daniel wants to fight now. I think if we took him down now to the ring walk, he'd be ready to go. And I think Dubois needs to be in that headspace like he was against Joshua. Tunnel visioned, focused. Almost when the fight was over, he never celebrated. And I saw him about an hour later getting into his car to go home. I think he still wanted to fight more. He's that sort of guy, Daniel. I think you just put him in a straight line and off he goes. And he's got what he's got. Has he got the armory to make a big impact in this fight? Yes. Has he got the armory to beat Oleksandr Usyk? Not sure. As I said, he needs to do everything and some to beat Usyk, and probably need a little bit of luck as well. It's going to be a wild and windy night, I hear. Maybe the lightning coming in as well, so you never know. There's some spirituality in the Dubois camp, and rightfully they believe their guy's going to win. I mean, he'll never get a better chance to beat Usyk as at home on Saturday night at 27 and mentally the best he's ever been. The trouble is, he's got to beat Oleksandr Usyk.
Fair point. I do want to talk about other things outside of this. Tyson Fury looks like he's not coming back this year. He is making a return in 2026, and there's a few options. Look, Daniel, he's talked about Usyk 3, which he wants. The anti-Joshua fight, I think the public want that. And then there's a possible Dubois fight if Dubois wins this. So in your eyes, which fight out of them three do you want to see Tyson back in eventually in 2026?
You can ask Tyson yourself on Saturday because he's coming down. I think Tyson's making noise, as he always does, before a big event that's not involving him. Joe Parker's been around today. I think he wants to be in the ring on Saturday night. Ajit Kabayel. I think you're going to have a whole load of ringside front rowers who want to be fighting in the ring. Maybe with his excellency as an exception, who makes the fights happen. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see them all on Saturday night. I think Tyson should fight AJ. I think that's the fight that the British public want to see. I think it's the fight that we have to see. It's a fight that's been toyed with for a long time. The only other fight I could see AJ going in with is Wilder. If Wilder wants to take the fight, maybe for December. But I think next year should be a Fury-Joshua double. Should Fury fight Usyk again? It could happen. Should AJ fight Usyk again? It could happen. Should Parker fight Usyk or Dubois winner? Yes, he deserves the chance. But the fight that I want Tyson Fury to take is the Joshua fight.
But Turki Al-Sheikh might be wanting to make a Jake Paul fight with Anthony Joshua. That's the rumours. That's what's coming out. What do you see in that? Or, you know, I know Turki Al-Sheikh likes to push boundaries and try innovative things, try different things. But what is your scope on this? Will there be a market for this?
Of course there'll be a market for it. Jake Paul against AJ is going to attract huge attention. Whether it's the hard trade core like you and me, we don't know yet, but it's going to attract attention. Should it happen next? Not in my opinion. I think I want AJ Fury, and I'd like to see Jake Paul fight a former world champion, and then I'd like to see him take on someone like a Badu Jack at some point, or maybe an older champion, and see how he does, right? That's what I want to see with Jake Paul. But this is an entertainment business, and you and I know that entertainment names, you know, AJ and Jake Paul is a sort of very, very odd, curious, weird, bizarre fight. But it's a fight my kids are going to watch. It's a fight my kids will be more excited about than if AJ came back and fought Deontay Wilder, probably. So, yeah, look, Turkey's turned the game on its head, turned boxing around. He's been unbelievable for the sport. He's got everybody fighting everybody. He's got the promoters all working together. Most are on the home of Boxing DAZN. We've got a few Netflix dates as well, which is great. And we just heard about the pay-per-view stuff too. And look, he's trying to innovate. He's trying to do things differently. I was there on Saturday night in New York at the Louis Armstrong Center. It was one of the best nights of boxing I've seen in a long time. They were fantastic fights. So he's doing so much right. But I also like being in the Garden for the all-female card on Friday. I thought that was brilliant from Jake Paul. So there's a lot of brilliance at the moment. And there's, for the first time in Britain, the undisputed heavyweight championship being fought at Wembley Stadium that Frank Warren and the Ready to Fight team have made between them, live exclusively and only on DAZN. It's just treasure after treasure. We're being treated to a great year. I think someone asked me last year, will 2025 be the best year in boxing? I said yes. I think it's turning out to be a pretty good year. I think 2026 might be even better. But look, we haven't even got anywhere near Canelo Crawford yet. And how much are we enjoying this? We've got Moses and Dillian in the desert in a few weeks' time. We've got actually one of the best fights of the year in Ryan Garner and Reece Bellotti in Bournemouth next weekend that probably not many people know about outside of the trade, but we should be shouting out about that because that's a great fight. Listen, let's get this one done first. This is a huge one, and let's hope it's a great, great fight. I think that Dubois will make it a great fight, whether he wins it. If he wins it, it's one of the big upsets, one of the biggest moments in British boxing history. If he loses gallantly, no harm done. Oleksandr Usyk wins in style. I mean, what else is there left for him? For me, there's one thing left for him, and that's somehow to fight in the Ukraine in front of his people. That's what I'd like to see him do before he hangs the gloves up. Does he need to do anything else in boxing? No. Does Joe Parker deserve a chance? Of course he does. But let's see what happens on Saturday night first.
Yeah, just a final one from me. Talks have come out, there's rumours that have come out actually from the Ring magazine, so it's going to be more certified than anything else. But Turkey Al Sheikh, Ring magazine, and Cell distancing themselves from the Conor Ben Eubank rematch. In regards to that, it seems like from what Conor Ben's saying, possibly that rematch isn't going to happen now. It looks like Chris Eubank Jr. might not want that rematch for whatever case that is. I'm not sure. Your thoughts on that in regards to possibly looking out for a Canelo fight? That seems to be a rumour that was there. Or is it Hamza Shiraz? Which way would you see that happening?
There's plenty of options for both Chris and Conor. They both came out of that fight in April with their reputations more intact than ever. I thought Conor did ever so well. He was brilliant. It was a phenomenal fight, and Chris dragged it out down the stretch. Both of these guys ended up in hospital with, they were being checked out afterwards. Would we like to see a rematch? Of course, we'd love to see a rematch. Would it live up to the first? I don't know. It looks like it's probably not going to happen now if Turkey and the Ring and the Riyadh season have sort of pulled away from it. That looks like it's down to Chris. Maybe it's a weight thing. I would have liked to have seen them do it at 163, maybe give Chris a little bit more wriggle room, and maybe that's something that Conor wouldn't agree to because it was that little bit too much. So I don't know. As I said, I'd love to see the fight happen, but I'd love to see other fights happen, and there's many others that could happen. I think Chris probably deserves a Canelo fight or a big fight, maybe, as you said, against Hamza Shiraz in the super middleweight division, and maybe Conor doesn't want to fight at middleweight again. I think there's so much in there for both fighters that it doesn't really matter, but I think it was getting our juices warm for a nice start to the autumn. So disappointing that maybe it won't, but we've got to look at the positives. Both of them will fight again, and we're excited to see where their careers go.
Cool. Adam Smith, it is a pleasure. Actually, Canelo's put £500,000 on Usyk winning, or dollars. That's a lot of money, right?
I think Canelo's got a lot of money, but he's obviously a big Usyk fan. I spoke to Ellie Scotney, who's on her way to becoming undisputed super bantamweight champion before she goes up to featherweight, albeit a slightly different time for her than it is for Usyk and Dubois. Actually, all she wanted, Ellie, was a photo with the champ. She thinks Usyk's a master and thinks Usyk wins on Saturday night. And I think the majority of people will probably agree with her. But boxing's full of upsets in the heavyweight division. We saw Fabio Wardley outboxed round after round against Justice Huni the other night. Look what happened. So you never know. Daniel Dubois has got a real chance in this fight. Do I think he's favourite? No. Do I think he wins? I think he needs a performance on all performances, and he needs Usyk to have a really, really bad night for him to win. But is it possible? Anything's possible in heavyweight boxing. And you and I know anything's possible at Wembley Stadium. 80,000. It's not 80,000, Carl Froch. It's 90,000, baby.
Adam Smith, on that note, I'm going to leave you to it. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you close to the fight night. Thank you very much. Top man.